You can thank Christians in America for their influence on Uganda for this anti-LGBTQ bill. I guess they've decided to revise it. Not sure what they've done, but it's a pretty harsh bill.
In Uganda, the controversial anti-homosexuality bill has been revised after outrage from human rights defenders who said it led to fear of more attacks on gay people. The original bill criminalized people for identifying as LGBTQ+. It's now been changed at the President Yoweri Museveni's urging. Earlier, I spoke with Ugandan activist Delavi Kwagala about this. Delavi, thank you so much for joining us on our show. So this controversial bill in Uganda, it has been amended slightly, watered down slightly. What do you make of that?
I think either way, at the moment, as the queer community, we are pretty doomed, to be honest, because whether it's the watering down or signing the bill or not, at the moment, unfortunately, it's already an act that can be implemented, whether the president signs it or not from this moment, because since it has been already read 3 times in parliament, it already becomes an act. So either way, it doesn't protect us in any way. The bill doesn't allow for any queer survival whatsoever in Uganda at the moment.
It's pretty sad. People are facing criminalization just for existing. And this is something right-wingers also want in the United States to criminalize people's existence.
What does this mean for the queer community in Uganda? How does this change their lives?
To be honest, the lives have already been, like inflicted. Like there's already violence on the ground that is ensuing onto people. There's already people that are being thrown out of houses, not only that, but also in villages as well, where chairmans are like, get out of our village, we don't want you. We do already have cases of corrective rape and all of these horrendous hate crimes and all of that.
Yeah, that is one sad thing that does happen in various places. Uh, uh, Religious people will rape uh, lesbian women, mostly lesbian women, as a form of corrective uh, rape. As she said, that's what they consider it. They think that if they rape these people, that they will stop being gay, and it's messed up, and it's justified and allowed, and it's just a way for these people to be able to rape women and get away with it.
And it is because of, obviously, of the whole talk about the bill, because every single time that they speak about it or discuss it in a parliament, it feels like the society feels like it's their responsibility to actually carry out these heinous crimes onto queer bodies, onto us, by parading us and getting people naked and beating them up and all of that. So these things are already happening, whether the bill is being signed or not. And Uganda also has an history of using this bill over the last decade, to threaten the queer community. So every single time it feels like the government, every single time when the government has something to distract people from, we have always been the scapegoat, right? So this
Society, society always needs some kind of scapegoat, especially on the right. They always want some kind of scapegoat, and yeah, it's always the marginalized communities that become the scapegoat.
continues, it means that we're going to lose more people once again, just like we did in 2009, just like we did in 2014 up to 2015, just like we did. We always do, because this is like the realities of queer living in Uganda, unfortunately.
And
so the bill doesn't.
Delavi, if I could jump in there, I mean, you actually live now in South Africa. Is there any option for you to return to Uganda?
Not at the moment. At the moment, I can't really return to Uganda because I was in Uganda since December 2022. And I only came back here for a week to pick up a code of conduct from the police so I can renew my visa that I can renew back at home. I mean, from here. And I was notified that I'll be arrested at the airport because of my visibility, one, but also the work that I've been doing with hashtag What Next, a platform that I created to share information and resources, and also to fundraise to the crisis, in response to the crisis that is the passing of the anti-homosexuality bill. Because being a photojournalist by profession, my work, my career that I've created for the last 7 years, documenting realities of queer living in homophobic countries at the moment is a crime. I can't publish or print out any work. And also fundraising, if you're aware about the details of the bill, is also considered as aiding the promotion of homosexuality. So basically,
Right.
this bill affects me in many different aspects, you know, my work, my individual.
Just just existing, writing about uh, the uh, crimes against LGBTQ people and their experience and stuff is criminal in various nations, and it's pretty wild. It's honestly messed up, and that is what right-wingers want to happen in the United States, and that is what is somewhat going on with trans people. Uh, and these bills that are being passed to target them. And if nothing really changes, pretty much right wingers gonna have their way in a lot of various nations, and it's going to be a hellhole.
Personally as a person, and also at the moment also my child as well, because I have a 9-year-old who is trans, who I can't necessarily return home because they now be imprisoned for child endangerment. So either way, it doesn't feel like I'm able to return home at the moment, which is really sad because all of my equipment and all of my work are still in Uganda, because again, I left with an essential bag to return and I wasn't able to. So in a way, I became a political and homophobic fugitive in a country that also doesn't allow me to stay, because as I speak right now, my visa is expiring in the next 20 days. And guess what? I haven't received any help. And this is why I keep saying, like, visibility without protection is really a death sentence, because then I worry about me putting myself on the front line to fight for our rights and actually talk about this, which is dangerous in Uganda.
See, this is what happens when right-wing religious people get power. They go after the oppressed groups, the minority groups, and find a way to pass bills to murder them. And that is what they want. They don't care about people's rights or uh, personalities or individualities or freedoms or anything like that. All they want to do is see a world where they have total control, and it is what they want. And uh, being that they have this hardcore religious Christian ideology uh, with the Bible and their hatred of gay people and the LGBTQ people, they're going to pass bills that allows them to be murdered.
You know, and then what that means for
And in
me
other
and my
countries,
child.
Delavi, if I could jump in there, because other African nations, as you said, they're passing bills similar to Uganda. And what we've heard from some African leaders is that this is about instilling African values, not imported Western values. What is your response to that?
To be honest, the only imported values right now that they're talking about values is homophobia. Homophobia is the only import that is coming from the West. Homophobia is the only an African thing that we can recognize, because honestly, we do have history of queerness in Uganda. It's just that they have tried to continuously erase our culture and our history. You know, we have King Mwanga, all of the books speaking about this. But not only that, also, we do have countries where the things were normalized, like they were normal to be queer, you know, women marrying women, and also like, you know, men actually being two-spirited was a thing of spirituality. But at the moment, since they brought in religion, which is actually the colonial aspect that has led us to this, it means that they have forgotten and now are starting to use selectivism, colonialism, selectivism.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, with the extreme influence of Christian missionaries on various African nations, this is what has caused the rise in homophobia in Africa. This is what I have seen, and she seems to be saying similar, with the fact that, you know, there was uh, the acceptance of, you know, the queer community in the past until, you know, certain religion came in to play. It is pretty messed up how, uh, you know, these people were accepted until, you know, like missionaries and stuff came in. And missionaries is the same reason why, like, there's, you know, an increased amount of witch hunts in Africa, because these missionaries are constantly talking about how like witches are bad and stuff like that, and then albino Africans are being slaughtered over them being quote unquote witches. And this is all because of missionaries. People think missionaries are good people, but no, it's just another form of colonialism. If you are a missionary, you're a colonizer, and yeah, that's just point blank what it is, facts. I, you're going around trying to get everybody else to believe in your whitewashed religion.
Only kind of like refer to it when it works for them, which is really, really not fair because we deserve rights to live as, you know, like Black queer people because, you know, we are humans before we are queer.
Dilove, we have to end the conversation there, but thank you very much